Rainy next. Next on CBS 19 News at 6, it's just the beginning of a rainy next couple of days. In fact, heavier rain in the forecast on Friday when that heaviest rain arrives in your forecast.
Food banks and USDA funding cuts. What's at stake locally? Late-breaking developments. The state has denied parole for Selena's killer. The reason a board decided Yolanda Saldivar should stay in prison.
Coming up in sports, the March Madness Sweet 16 has officially started with Alabama taking on BYU. We'll take a live look at that game coming up. Live from Tyler, CBS 19 News at 6 starts now.
First tonight, our meteorologists are tracking much-needed rain moving through East Texas. Chief Meteorologist Brett Anthony is keeping an eye on those conditions. And Brett, a messy commute for those heading home.
Yeah, we've got rain off and on throughout the area, and it's widespread across East Texas. I've got it zoomed in here from Tyler over toward Longview. You can see Interstate 20. There are some wet roadways here as we've had some passing showers that have moved up toward Gilmer. We have some scattered showers toward White House, along Lake Palestine, down toward Frankston. I'll just zoom down there a little bit. You'll see some heavier rain moving back into the Frankston area right now toward Jacksonville and Rusk. There's a heavier shower here over Deep East Texas, right in San Augustine, and that's probably the heaviest shower at this time until you come out here to the west, just west of Groveton and Crockett, especially toward Teague, crossing Interstate 45. There is a shower there that is really kind of a heavier pocket of rain. I don't see any lightning in it. We're starting to pick up a couple of lightning strikes, so there could be a rumble hidden inside of that area of rain. But anyway, that's going to track, as I stop this for a second, that's going to track right on up toward Henderson and up toward Tyler here over the next several hours. So we've got rain moving in, becomes steadier as the night goes on, and we are not going to lose the gray skies. We've got cloudy skies, 65 degrees, light rain reported at Tyler Pounds. We've had about 0.03 of an inch of rain so far, and the winds have turned around to the northeast. We'll see those variable winds as the rain goes on. So this evening, wow, temps are not going to budge at all. In fact, they've flatlined here, about 63 to 65 with rain right on through 6 a.m. Or 1 a.m. I should say, and then overnight we'll see additional showers. And then on the radar and satellite picture here, here's a heavier pocket of rain. And you know what? This whole storm here is going to be moving to the northeast right up on through East Texas here tomorrow. So we're talking about potential for heavy rainfall, maybe some severe weather over Deep East Texas, and then it all wraps up as we head into the weekend. And we're going to talk about that. We'll lay it out for you hour by hour with those showers coming through, rumbles of thunder possible, and how much rain we could see. And then we have to turn our attention to Sunday. There's a chance we could see some severe thunderstorms. We'll go over all that in your 7-day forecast in just a few minutes.
Thanks, Brad. We're getting brand new reaction from the family of Selena Quintanilla Perez after parole was denied for Yolanda Saldivar, the woman convicted of killing the iconic singer. Selena's sister, Suzette, just posted a statement saying, quote, "While nothing can bring Selena back, this decision reaffirms that justice continues to stand for the beautiful life that was taken from us and for millions of fans around the world far too soon," unquote. The Texas Boards of Pardons and Parole says because of the brutality of the offense, Saldivar poses a continuing threat to public safety. She won't be eligible for parole again for 5 years. A major funding cut from the federal government is raising concerns tonight across East Texas school districts. The USDA has pulled $1 billion from school food programs, impacting districts that rely on these funds to provide meals to students in need. CBS 19's Ayanna Aird spoke with East Texas school leaders to learn more about how they're making sure no child goes hungry.
First of all, it's alarming that the federal government would do this and without much warning.
The USDA has canceled $1 billion in funding for school food programs, including the National School Lunch Program. Right here in East Texas, many school districts rely on this program to serve students that need it.
This ensures that these students are getting, good meals, usually breakfast and lunch during the school day. So it's just to help struggling families. It's a great program. Why would anybody be against it?
Lindale ISD Superintendent Stan Surratt says nearly half of the students in the district depend on this program every day.
I don't think families realize every meal we get money from the federal government. So even our paying families, some of that fund for that meal comes from the federal government. So with those cuts, every family would have to pay more, or we'd have to steal from somewhere else in the budget.
Overton ISD, all students receive free lunch. Superintendent Larry Calhoun says right now they don't have any indication that they will have to eliminate their ability to provide nutrition at no cost.
I would hate to see us lose the ability to provide free lunches for our students. And I hope that's not the case, but so far I haven't heard that it is the case.
Now, Superintendent Surratt says they're committed to keeping parents in the loop the best they can so no child is left hungry.
All schools in East Texas across this great state, they're going to do everything they can to ensure that our children are fed, they don't go hungry. So we're going to be working hard. You know, we're learning along with them, and so we're going to figure this thing out together.
For CBS 19, I'm Ayana Aird.
The wait is almost over. Bass Pro Shops has announced the grand opening date for its new Tyler location. The outdoor retailer will officially open its doors on Wednesday, April 16th at 6 p.m., kicking off with a ceremony and ribbon cutting. They'll also have giveaways for the first 100 customers each day with prizes like gift cards, Yetis, and beef jerky. Country artist Blaine Holcomb will provide pre-opening entertainment, making it a night to remember for East Texas outdoor enthusiasts. Tyler's Stewart Park is getting a major upgrade. The City Council greenlight a design contract to bring new features to the historic site. Tyler City Council approved a $67,500 contract with MHS Planning and Design to develop Stewart Park. The project includes new playgrounds, a walking trail, pavilions, a restroom, and educational features. It's the first new park in Tyler in decades. Now to other top stories we're following across the state tonight. Former Congressman Colin Allred is eyeing a 2026 Senate run against John Cornyn. Colin Allred told a crowd Wednesday night he's seriously considering a 2026 Senate bid to challenge Senator John Cornyn, who announced his re-election campaign yesterday, leaning heavily on his pro-Trump stance. Allred, a Dallas Democrat who lost to Ted Cruz in 2024, urged Republicans to stay engaged. It has been 3 weeks since Houston Representative Sylvester Turner's death, and Governor Greg Abbott has not yet called a special election to fill the seat. That's according to reporting by the Texas Tribune. Turner was just 2 months into his first term representing Texas's 18th congressional district when he died. The district is considered a Democratic stronghold in Congress. The Tribune reports Abbott has the sole authority to call a special election to fill the seat for the rest of the 2-year term. In Texas, state law does not specify a deadline for the governor to order a special election. If a special election is called, the election must happen within 2 months of that announcement. Texas lawmaker Pat Curry has withdrawn his own bill that would have abolished Texas Parks and Wildlife. House Bill 4938 was filed in the final days of the legislature's bill acceptance period. The bill proposed transferring the functions of Texas Parks and Wildlife to the Texas General Land Office, the Department of Agriculture, and Texas DPS, along with their funding. In a statement this week, Curry says he does not plan to move that bill forward, explaining that it may have ruffled some feathers. He admitted he filed the bill to bring attention to proposed regulations on deer breeding here in the Lone Star State. From Hurricane Harvey to the 2021 winter storm and last year's Hurricane Beryl, Texas is no stranger to natural disasters. In fact, the state leads the country when it comes to billion-dollar weather-related disasters. Now a Dallas state representative is working to make the state more resilient. CBS Austin's Andrew Freeman reports.
We're living severe weather in real time.
From nearly 300 people dead in 2021's winter storm to more than 200,000 acres burned in wildfires across the state in 2023, and more than $8 billion in damages from Hurricane Beryl last year. These are just a few of the recent examples of severe weather Dallas State Representative Rafael Anchia says are having a devastating impact on the state.
Weather has gotten so crazy, regardless of why you think that is, that it no longer passes the eye test.
In fact, Climate Central's Shel Winkley says since 1980, the entire nation has seen a sharp rise in billion-dollar disasters. Yet Texas leads the entire country with 100 during that same time.
Texas is growing. We're putting more people in the place of weather, where weather can impact them more.
There isn't just a huge financial cost.
In the $300–400 billion range to the state, that gets absorbed by guess who? Us.
There's a human cost as well. Anchia says over the past 20 years, about 7,000 people have died from the extreme weather in Texas.
These are people's lives, their livelihoods, their homes.
He says House Bill 2618 would require 15 state agencies, including the state's public safety, emergency management, and transportation departments, work together to create severe weather adaptation plans every 2 years.
Our state, instead of being reactive, needs to be proactive in preparing for severe weather.
Winkley says even if we don't want to call it climate change, it's important for states to become more resilient.
It's to make sure that we can still have habitable places for us now, but also for future generations.
With state climatologists expecting even hotter temperatures by 2036, Anshia says while we can disagree on the cause, we shouldn't disagree on our response.
Severe weather is not a Republican issue. It's not a Democratic issue. It's a Texan issue.
Well, you know what that sound is? Today is opening day, and everywhere across the country, Major League Baseball games are being played, including right here in Texas. To kick things off here at CBS 19, we held some trivia on our social media pages, and our Jimmy Searfoss is here to give us the answers.
Yeah, that's right, Brandon. You can check out that video on all of our socials. We actually have a winner. They're going to be getting this goodie bag of CBS 19 gear. Some good stuff in here, and we'll have the winner down at 6:30. But first, let's get to the answers for this. The first question up: what was the original name of those Houston Astros? That would be the Colt 45s. Honestly, I like that name a little bit better than the one that they're going with right now. And then there's a famous image where Nefertari Feliz sends the Rangers to the World Series, but who is the catcher in that image? That would be Benji Molina, brother of the famous Yadier Molina. Next question: what would be the name of that hill that used to be in the Astros Stadium? Had a flagpole in it. That was Tall's Hill. I hated when they took it out, to be honest with you. One of my favorite parts of that stadium. The Rangers have been managed by 2 Hall of Famers, but only one of them known for managing. Who's the other? That would have been Ted Williams. People forget that he managed the team. Didn't do a great job, but he did it. If you're a Astros fan, you know these guys. But what was the nickname that they went by? That was the Killer Bees. Jeff Bagwell, Craig Biggio, known as the Killer Bees. Fantastic on that team.
Alrighty, Jimmy, and do we know who the winner is?
Yeah, we'll get that actually at 6:30.
Okay,
we'll
so we got a little bit of time.
And the rest of the questions. We'll have some time.
Alrighty, Jimmy Searfoss, thank you. And don't forget to tune into our new statewide newscast, Texas News Now. Texas News Now is a statewide newscast featuring all the stories you need daily. Plus, we've got your daily weather from across the state. Check out Texas News Now right now on demand on CBS 19 Plus. Download it today for free on your smart TV.
All right, East Texas is home to some great bass fishing. In this week's Hooked on East Texas, we're going to tell you which lake is returning to a prestigious list. And in our forecast, we're tracking rain. Lots of it for some of us. We'll check that out right after the break. All right, welcome back, and thanks for watching us here on our CBS 19 stream. A popular East Texas lake is back among the best. Yes, we're talking about the famed Lake Fork. It cracked the top 5 in the 2024 Bassmasters Best Lakes in the United States. We explain what put Lake Fork back among the best. Yes, affectionately called bucket mouths. The lure of these largemouth bass puts Lake Fork on many anglers' bucket list. A destination to catch the fish of a lifetime.
It was one of the greatest bass fisheries in the nation for many years, and then it kind of fell off for a little while, but I think that the Bass Pros helped to bring it back.
The AFCO Bassmaster Elite at Lake Fork.
Fork fishing guide Jackie Wiggins is talking about the Bassmaster Elite Series tournament. Pros from around the country brought out Lake Fork's famed lunkers.
Giant bass!
64 bass caught that weekend, weighed more than 8 pounds.
Century Belt photo op.
Every angler that made it to the final day caught more than 100 pounds of bass and earned a Century Belt.
An absolute quadrilla gorilla. That fish 10 pounds.
I kind of knew after the elite event in February and March, like this lake's going to be easily top 10 again. We'll see how far it actually lands. I mean, when they break records like that.
The Bassmaster list of top bass lakes in the country is out, and Lake Fork sits at a solid number 5. Here's a stat that proves why Lake Fork belongs in the top 5 bass lakes across the country. In 2024, Lake Fork has produced 94 share-lunker bass. That's any bass that weighs 8 pounds or more.
They caught a lot of big fish here, and they showed that it is still a great fishery. You just got to know how to catch them.
There's not many lakes in our country that you can go out and catch multiple fish, say over 8 pounds in a day. Again, Lake Fork, I expect that to almost happen for some folks any given day out of the year. And you've seen lately some of our better guides, they're catching 35 to 40 pounds for their best 5 in a day consistently right now.
The bigger fish are back thanks to a return of plant life to the edges of the lake. The Sabine River Authority dropped the lake level to work on the dam. East Texas pro angler Lee Livesay says the return of the grass makes all the difference.
Vegetation is king, especially hydrilla. We've got hydrilla back, and these fish are super healthy. They're fat. It's Lake Fork. We're the GOAT lake. You can look at the list of share lunkers donated over the years, and Lake Fork has always been the king and always will be.
Texas Parks and Wildlife meticulously manages this 27,000-acre crown jewel of Bass Lakes. Fork is considered a slot lake.
Get that fish in there, Randy. All right.
Meaning any fish between 16 and 24 inches must be safely released.
17 inches. That's a slot. We're going to turn that fish loose.
That sets Lake Fork up to stay as one of the best bass lakes well into the future.
So that's just giving a greater percentage of fish a greater chance to keep growing larger. We stock that lake religiously. We put close to 500,000 fingerlings in that lake every year. And as long as it has good shoreline habitat like we're seeing right now, the survival is great for those. The natural reproduction is phenomenal. So all those things combined, it just keeps producing and producing and producing.
Another Texas lake made the Bassmaster top 10. That was O.H. Ivy west of San Angelo. It came in at number 2. A dozen legacy class lunkers weighing 13 pounds or more were caught at Ivy between January and March of 2024. This year, we'll see how that list shapes up. We'll know that later on. All right, let's talk about this storm system bringing us rain to East Texas, much needed rain. So maybe some of the lake levels or river levels will come back up. It's a large area. Look at the rain from Tyler all the way back down into Mexico. What's going on here? We have an area of low pressure. It's essentially right in here. A counterclockwise swirl around that low, right? So as this low continues to move to the northeast, that'll bring all of that rain with it and move it all the way up here into Texas. Eventually, that low will move up into the Mississippi River Valley. But in the meantime, it's just rain shower after rain shower after rain shower tonight. In fact, we're going to get into a steadier area of rain here this evening. Here's Future Skycast. I'll start this at 7 o'clock. That next batch of rain is moving in. Temperatures are in the upper 60s to around 70 degrees. We go forward a couple of hours into Friday morning, and we've got another batch of rain coming in. Downpours at times, and sometimes, I mean, we're talking about rainfall amounts in the order of about a ½ inch to an inch an hour, especially over parts of deep East Texas. Look at San Augustine. This could even be a severe thunderstorm warning with a little bit of hail reported possibly tomorrow, but certainly enough to lower the visibility as you're driving, chase you off the lakes for a little bit for sure, down at Sam Rayburn and Toledo Bend. And then that shower by 11 o'clock Friday night, or that storm I should say, starts to move into Arkansas and things start to calm down. In fact, Saturday afternoon, we see temperatures in the lower 80s. But you know what we're doing? We're loading up the atmosphere with energy so that Sunday morning, we've got a chance for a little cluster of thunderstorms to race through here. And then that'll prime the atmosphere for additional showers and thunderstorms Sunday afternoon and Sunday night. Tomorrow, as that heavier batch of rain moves through, we've got a marginal risk of excessive rainfall. So some isolated flash flooding in the blue. If you look at the area in purple, that is what we would consider a slight risk for scattered flash flooding. So there could be a couple of flash flood warnings from Houston over toward Lake Charles tomorrow into Saturday. All right, so let's take our attention from Friday and turn it to Sunday. That's Friday's storm system. Nice well-formed low, dives down into Florida, falls apart. Then we get this storm system that moves off the west coast and starts to get a little better organized. You may notice something here. See how these bars are kind of packed together? Well, I'm looking for areas where the wind or the air starts to spread apart. So right where I have the word stormy probably is the best chance for severe weather over the weekend. Southern Missouri, southern Illinois, western Kentucky, northeastern parts of Oklahoma or Arkansas. But we are included in that simply because we've got just a little bit of energy, as I talked about, a lot of energy, which I'll show you here in just a second. And so we're under an level 2 out of 5, slight risk for severe weather in East Texas on Sunday, and that does prompt our weather impact alert for Sunday. We have a ton of energy. In fact, we would consider this strong energy in the atmosphere here in East Texas, and even some strong energy all the way up toward Memphis. Then we also have this collision between very dry air and very warm, humid air. So that collision of air masses can prompt thunderstorms. But something lacking here when we put it all together. We don't have a lot of upper level wind support. So you might notice the supercell potential is not that great here in East Texas. It's on the lower end. So we shall see how that all shapes up. Oh, that was weird. Let's go back to tornado safety. Every time I try something experimental on these streams, we have wackadoodle things happening. What do you know? Did you watch our weather special? We talked about the tornado. Up there it was. Up. 7-day forecast. Weather impact alert Friday. 70 for the high with an 80% chance of rain. Thunderstorms on Sunday, 82. We get rid of those thunderstorms. Next week starts off pretty decent. Then we have a chance for scattered thunderstorms next Wednesday and Thursday. You never know what's going to happen.
You never know.
See, I thought you were going to give away your pick of the day. I thought that's what was going to happen.
Oh.
Yeah.
No.
No pick of the day either.
No pick of the day.
No
All
pick of the
right,
day?
so that means we're going right to sports.
Oh,
well, hey.
Oh, well, hello,
Save the best
hey.
for last.
Save the best for last. Coming up in sports, the NJCAA women's basketball tournament was on and popping early this morning with Kilgore taking on Chipola. I'll have those highlights next.
The CBS19 Sports Report, sponsored by Jack in the Box.
All right, East Texas, it's opening day for Major League Baseball, and we heard some of that baseball trivia from Jimmy Searfoss earlier. Well, the winner will be coming up at 6:30, so make sure you guys are tuning in for that one. Well, I hope you guys are also continuing with this baseball spirit. Our assistant news director sent in this picture of her brother and nephew from the Rangers opening day today. And if you guys plan on going to any baseball games, obviously Rangers or Astros only, but you can throw in like Royals pictures like Brett, maybe even throw in a Yankees pictures like Dan Malay. Please send your pictures in to news@cbs19.tv. But let's see how they did. Well, the Rangers, they are getting off to a pretty sour start on opening day. They ended up losing to the Red Sox 5-2. Then the Astros nearly shut out the Mets, but the Mets, they were able to get a run in the last inning, but they're still walking away with the win, 3-1. And in the midst of basketball season and now even baseball, we also have soccer season. The playoff area round finished up this past Tuesday, and now it's time for them to go on to the next round. And here are the 4 soccer playoff kickoffs that will happen tomorrow. It's going to be Henderson versus Gainesville. And then it's at 7:30. That location is still to be determined. Same with Center versus Sunnyvale. Still waiting to hear on a time and a place for that one. And then we've got Pine Tree versus Community at 5:30. That one's going to be at Forney City Bank Stadium. And then finally Kilgore versus Salina at Sulphur Springs with kickoff at 7:30. Now on to the girls matchups. Talk about a solid program on both sides. Kilgore versus Salina again, but they're at 5:30. And then Lindo versus Maybank at Bruceville, located in Athens at 6 p.m. And then Athens will be taking on Aubrey at Better Life Stadium at 6 p.m. And then finally Bullard will face off with Sunnyvale at Tyler Rose Stadium at 5:30. All games will be tomorrow. And I've got a sweet tooth, East Texas, because it's officially Sweet 16 time. Alabama is facing off with BYU right now, so let's go ahead and take a live look and see what's happening. I know it's getting pretty tight in there. It's BYU trailing Alabama, number 2 Alabama, 24-19. This is going to be a tough matchup. Like I said earlier, BYU is led by Kevin Young, and he's in his first year with BYU, and they were able to get their first 2 tournament wins in the past 13 seasons. So it's going to be a pretty good game, but we still have plenty more that's going to be facing off all right here on CBS 19. Like I said, Alabama BYU is going on right now, and we also have Duke versus Arizona at 8:39 p.m. Now let's head out to Kilgore. Lady Rangers taking on number 1 Chipola. Talissa Henderson with the nice little step back and up, but they're still trailing. Kamari Forrest with the nice little pullback and jumper, but they were still down by 6. Kilgore is just trying to claw back, but Chipola is ranked number 1 for a reason, and they got to the free throw line a lot more in that 4th quarter, and they were able to pull away. Here goes that final score for you. Kilgore ends their season with a 24-10 record, but they unfortunately fall to Chipola 73-63, but still congratulations to the ladies for making it this far. And good news, Mavs fans, ESPN's Shams Charania reported yesterday that Kyrie Irving's surgery was successful. Now remember that Irving went down during the Mavericks game to the Sacramento Kings March 3rd after his left knee just bent way too awkwardly while driving up to the hoop. He was ruled out for the rest of the season, but happy to hear that his surgery went good. But there is a long road to recovery ahead because he does have a torn ACL. And he's actually had left knee surgery before, back in 2015, to repair a fractured kneecap. Later on, those screws were removed back in 2018. Well, the Mavs will be facing off with the Magic pretty soon here. They're supposed to be tipping off at 6, but they have not tipped off just yet. And we're going to make sure we come back with that final score later on tonight at 10.
Alrighty, and Serenity, you know, talking about the opening day, not what Rangers fans wanted last year, if we all remember. We don't want to remember last year, but they were 78-84 last year, so not the best start to the new season, but it's not how you start. It's how you finish.
It's absolutely how you finish. I mean, I think baseball games, they have like 169 or 65, so they have plenty of time.
We just hope they turn things around quickly.
Yeah.
All righty, Serenity. Thank you. We'll be right back.
The CBS 19 Sports Report, sponsored by Jack in the Box.
Thanks for watching. We'll be right back. Good evening and thanks for watching us. I'm Brennan Gurley. We come to the end of a soggy night here in East Texas. Let's go ahead and bring in Chief Meteorologist Brett Anthony. And Brett, you are tracking those showers moving through right now.
Yeah, we've had several showers so far, more on the way. In fact, we're just getting started when it comes to the rain. Overnight, we'll see the steadiest rain, which should give us a great soaking. In fact, by tomorrow, when this is all said and done tomorrow night, and we're talking about maybe 3/4 of an inch for some of us on the low end to as much as almost 4 inches of rainfall over parts of deep East Texas. So here we go. We got just some light rain showers. I'll just throw this into motion so you can generally see the way things are moving. We've had just one lightning strike in the last 15 minutes. That was way out to the west, but you can see the heaviest rain moving across I-45 right now, kind of weakening just a little bit, so we'll stop it and just kind of zoom in on a couple of areas for you. One of those would be down here toward Jacksonville, and when we look at that area toward Jacksonville, you can see it's just some light, moderate rainfall in places around Rusk and Jacksonville up toward Athens. That will move back into Smith County and in Tyler within the next half hour. And then this area down here toward Cushing moves back into Laneville and Henderson and eventually up to Longview over the next couple of hours. That heavier batch will first move through Palestine and then eventually it makes its way up toward Longview, Tyler, maybe up toward Gilmer. And if it's the bottom half stays together, it might reach Nacogdoches within the next, say, couple of hours. Gray skies right now. In fact, some ripples in the clouds. That's kind of cool to see. A big area of low pressure over South Texas fueling all this. And that's a rainy 65, but it's also a muggy 65. The humidity right there at about 60. We flatlined the temperatures through the evening, anywhere from 60 at 8 p.m. to 65 at 1 a.m. as temperatures warm up just a little bit. Otherwise, on the satellite and radar picture, that's the storm that we're tracking way down here in Mexico. And so this has got to move all the way up through Texas, eventually up into Arkansas, and that is going to take all day tomorrow to do that. Back to track this storm and talk about a severe weather threat on Sunday. What's the setup? We'll look at that in your 7-day forecast.
Thanks, Brad. New at 6:30, an East Texas man was sentenced to 17 years in prison today after pleading guilty to driving drunk and causing the death of a Tyler woman. Cesar Viramontes Cocolon pleaded guilty to manslaughter in connection with the crash that killed Maria Hernandez in August of last year at the intersection of Highway 31 East and FM 2908 in Smith County. DPS says he struck the SUV head-on while driving on the wrong side of the road. The 18-wheeler tried to avoid the car but couldn't. Hernandez died at the scene. During an interview at the hospital, Viramontes Cocolon told police that his steering wheel malfunctioned. He was sentenced to 17 years behind bars. Also new tonight, Nacogdoches police are warning residents of an increase in scams in the area. The scammers will pose as bank representatives, law enforcement, the IRS, a utility company, or an old friend. They will then pressure you into paying some type of fee or fine with Bitcoin or prepaid debit cards. Local residents are losing thousands of dollars to these scams with little to no chance of recovering that money. If you receive a suspicious phone call, hang up the phone and report it to law enforcement. Just hours ago, U.S. senators were demanding answers in the deadly midair collision between an American Airlines plane and Army Black Hawk helicopter that took the lives of 67 people. This happened back in January near Reagan Airport. The Commerce Subcommittee held a hearing to review the NTSB's preliminary report. Texas Senator Ted Cruz, who chairs that subcommittee, called the accident preventable and spoke directly to the victims' families.
It is my hope that we can spend the coming months in the wake of this tragedy working seriously to plug safety gaps and to ensure that an accident of this magnitude never happens again.
This hearing is looking into the actions that led to the collision, and we'll also learn about the NTSB recommendation to ban some helicopter operations at Reagan National Airport. The detention of a Turkish student attending Tufts University in Massachusetts has triggered another legal battle. The Trump administration is defending the arrest, saying the woman engaged in activities is in support of Hamas. A PhD student at Tufts University, Rumeysa Ozturk, has co-authored an op-ed in the school newspaper calling on Tufts to acknowledge the Palestinian genocide and divest from Israel. This video shows the moment plainclothes officers detained her in a Boston suburb on Tuesday.
I think it's crazy to invite students into your country that are coming onto your campus and destabilizing it. We're just not going to have it. So we'll revoke your visa, and once your visa is revoked, you're illegally in the country and you have to leave.
By the time her attorney went to court, Ozturk had already been sent to a detention center in Louisiana. At Tufts, students gathered on campus to protest. The governor of Massachusetts warned of a chilling effect on international students and called the arrest a bad thing for science and research. Tonight, President Trump has asked Representative Elise Stefanik to stay in Congress and withdraw her nomination for U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations.
I was surprised. I think Representative Stefanik may well have served successfully as ambassador to the UN, certainly from the perspective of the Trump administration.
With the GOP holding a razor-thin majority in the House, President Trump says every Republican seat is essential to advance his agenda. As the president considers other potential nominees for UN ambassador, he's also pushing ahead with his efforts to slash the size of the government. Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. took to social media today to announce mass layoffs within the department. The department is cutting 20,000 employees from its payroll. HHS officials say about half of those workers took buyouts or early retirement. The cuts include 3,500 workers at the FDA, 2,400 at the CDC, and 300 staffers at the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services.
When you fire people who provide Medicare and Medicaid, that is the same as a benefit cut. When you fire people who prevent the spread of diseases like measles, America will get sicker.
The White House says the HHS cuts will save $1.8 billion. Over 12,000 days. That's how long one East Texas girl has been missing. Tonight, as part of our Unsolved East Texas series, we take a look into the missing persons case of Megan Gardner, who hasn't been seen since 1991. Megan Gardner was 3 years old when she disappeared from a South Tyler apartment complex 3 decades ago. And still to this date, no leads or persons of interest. In 2022, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children released an age progression photo of what Megan might look like at 34 years old. Today, she would be 37. Tonight, we hear from Detective Jim Holt, who is still searching for answers in this bizarre case and says they have no leads surrounding Megan's disappearance.
This is the kind of case that's just a parent's nightmare. It's the kind where your kid's playing on the playground, and then when everybody looks around, the child's gone. And that's literally what happened. Megan was on the playground of the apartment complex where she lived, and when everybody started going back to their apartments, Megan just wasn't there.
Don't miss our special report tonight at 10. Well, you'll hear from investigators who are still holding on to hope and learn how new leads could finally bring answers in Megan Gardner's case. Take me out to the ball game and grab a beer and hot dog. When CBS 19 News at 6:30 returns, a Texas reporter tries out selling the ballpark favorites.
Rain on the way tonight, so what's the weather impact? Make sure you have your umbrella or raincoat handy through tomorrow. You're going to need it. Back with an updated forecast after this.
Opening day for the Texas Rangers has come and gone, but before the game even started, many fans were thinking about that ice-cold beer and hot dogs. But as fun as it is to indulge at a game, how hard is it to sell them? Bo Evans got a crash course in Hawkins hot dogs and beer as a mobile concessionaire at Globe Life Park.
Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. We're gonna learn the whole process of how to sell beer here.
Ice cold beer here.
Don't think twice. I got them sitting in the ice.
I feel very official. When fans get here, we're gonna start slanging some beers, and then after that, we're gonna sell a few hot dogs.
Right there. Come on in.
It's always been my dream to sell beer.
Is it?
Yeah.
Good.
I like to drink it, so why not sell it?
Might as well.
Smash it?
Smash it.
I love smashing ice. Gotta keep these beers cold, man. We're ready, baby. I'm ready to slang some cans. Woo. I'm already tired. Oh, can't go to the ballpark without the nuts.
Just take it right here and then pop, pop, just like that. There you go.
You know, I've been cracking beers for a long time, but not normally for other people.
I just go cold beer.
Cold beer.
They'll start walking by.
Water, soda.
I just try to chat them up.
How we doing? Yeah?
Ice cold.
You need anything? We got cold beer.
Cold beer.
Cold beer. You guys look like you need a beer. Cold beer. This is the coldest beer in the whole stadium. Drink responsibly. We got water. We got snacks. You come here, you think the beer sells itself, but I'm out here working. How we doing? How we doing? You gotta be careful. Who needs a beer? This beer ain't gonna drink itself.
Number 6, John.
It's a marathon, not a sprint. In the koozie. All right, back up we go. How we doing, folks? It's not easy. It's heavy. It's weighing on my neck. Hey, folks, who needs a hot dog? 1, 2, 3.
He's been waiting for a hot dog.
Let him get a dog! Let's go! I got you, brother.
Thank you.
Jumbo hot dogs! 5, 6, 7. Is that a dinger? That's number 10, baby! Yeah! Oh my God, I'm selling so many more hot dogs than beer. Dingers! You need a dog! Jumbo hot dogs! I'm sweating. I'll tell you what, man, this is hard work. How are we gonna get over there? Cold beer. That's it. We're sold out. It's a lot of steps, it's a lot of work. It ain't easy selling dogs and slinging beer.
That's for sure. What a day's work right there. Woo. Not the way we wanted Rangers fans, you know, with the game going 5-2. The Red Sox pulled off that first win.
Oh, they did?
They did.
Oh,
yeah, I don't want to talk about
Well,
it.
there's 161 more games.
There are, right. Just looking ahead.
Yeah, they'll go 161-1. You know what the good thing is? I love when they open the roof over there.
Yes. Dollar hot dog night, too. One of my favorites.
Oh, my goodness, yeah. Oh, yeah. Were playing up in Boston today, or are they in?
They're here in Arlington.
Well, they had the roof closed. I mean, if they get ready to finish the game, but they'll probably close if they had the roof open, they'll close it before that rain gets there. We got a lot of rain just kind of moving up from the southwest to the northeast here tonight. In fact, on future Skycast here at 7 o'clock, you got this light rain drifting northward, then another pocket tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. We get a little downpour here, and then that just kind of expands and starts to sit on top of us as the main upper low. In fact, if you keep your eye out right here, you might be able to see that little spin. So we stay in the rain, I'd say 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., solid rain. And then we start to break back out by about 5 o'clock. We got a couple thunderstorms over deep East Texas. Maybe one more little wave there Friday night around 11 o'clock. Saturday morning, it's cloudy. It's probably damp. It's very muddy for soccer games Saturday morning, or youth baseball or softball. So it's going to be kind of just messy. But by the afternoon, we're back into sunshine. Temperatures are in the 80s, so you forget all about the rain in the afternoon. And then Sunday morning, we've got one. Look at this thunderstorm here. That's probably a little hailer that races through East Texas about 6 to 8 a.m. Sunday morning. Just keep that in the back of your mind. And then remember that I told you about it now. So when it happens, you're like, oh yeah, Brett said that would do Sunday morning. We'd have a little hailer come through. Hopefully not too big. We don't need any monster hail or anything like that. When we look at excessive rainfall, yeah, marginal risk. So maybe an isolated report of flash flooding. I think right now, looking at the data, it would be San Augustine, Sabine County. Scattered flash flood possible over in the area in purple. But there's your storm, tomorrow's storm, or tonight's storm into tomorrow, just kind of centered right over North Texas. That'll move up to the northeast, fall apart. Second storm comes in. It's a little farther to the north, but the location of that low would bring moisture northward, energy northward. You got a dry line, a cold front, and it all adds up to a slight risk of severe weather. There might be an area of southern Illinois, southern Missouri, western Kentucky that goes to an enhanced risk. A little better energy, everything coming together up there. For us, though, we're still in that Cat 2 out of 5. And then when we look at the storm energy, it's strong here because of all the heat that we had Saturday, and we get that again on Sunday as we warm back into the 80s. There is a discernible shift in the amount of energy between Tyler and, say, Abilene. So you can tell we got something going on. And what that is you have a dry line. So while the dew points are quite muggy here in Tyler with dew points in the upper 60s, you've got dew points in West Texas in the 20s. That is quite the contrast. That's enough to get showers and thunderstorms going. But the one thing that's missing is the upper level winds. Think of the upper level winds like a vacuum cleaner. They kind of pull the air upward, right? So you don't have a lot of upper level wind energy to pull that air upward. You don't have a lot of rising air perhaps over a large area. So you may have 1 or 2 supercells, but the supercell potential on Sunday is kind of limited, low to medium, so we'll keep an eye on that. Tonight, overnight lows in the lower 60s, Tyler and Longview, Carthage, maybe a rumble, steady rain after midnight. Temperatures generally running 60 to 64 degrees area-wide. Then tomorrow, we're bouncing back up to about 70 in Tyler with that rain off and on. Gilmer 67, 73 at Nacogdoches, and 75 at Lufkin. Saturday, damp and gray start, afternoon sunshine. Let's watch for scattered thunderstorms developing by evening on Sunday. Here's your Baylor Scott and White Texas Spine Joint Hospital 7-day forecast. By the time we make it to Monday, things are looking better. Partly cloudy, 73. We're in the low 80s Tuesday. Some more thunderstorms are showing up in the data Wednesday night into Thursday. We'll have an update on that coming up tonight after basketball, which right now, Brendan, we're estimating to be about, what, 3 a.m.?
I think it is 3:30, 3:45, so you might want to stick around. All righty, Brett, thank you. Well, it's time for more MLB opening day fun. Still ahead, we'll have more on the answers behind our CBS 19 trivia. Plus, our Jimmy Searfoss will announce today's winner.
Everything is bigger in Texas and in some parts of the Amazon rainforest. Friday on Morning Y'all, we'll introduce you to the giant river otters at the Caldwell Zoo. Plus, meteorologist Sarah Blue has a check on your forecast. We'll see you dark and early on Morning Y'all. Watch on CBS 19 and streaming on CBS 19 Plus.
Welcome back to CBS 19 News at 6:30. Opening day is here, and our Jimmy Searfoss kicked off today with some trivia. Now he's back to give us the rest of the answers.
And I have the winner. But let's finish off with these questions first of all so I can get back to watching these baseball games. Check out this former Ranger known as the human rain delay. What was this guy's name? Now it's Mike Hargrove, known for his long routine fixing just about everything on his body in between pitches. Modern day MLB would hate this guy. They're trying to speed up the game. He was trying to slow it down. Hey, Astros been around for a long time. Who was the first one to win the batting title, though? That's Jose Altuve, relatively recently, though, 2014. I mean, the Astros been around since 1962. It took him a while to get there. Hey, Nolan Ryan famously pitched for both the Rangers and the Astros, but which one did he throw the most strikeouts for?
Ooh.
That's the Rangers.
Oh,
yeah,
interesting.
And it was not close. About 500 more on the Rangers than the Astros. Check this out. Sports Illustrated called the Astros winning the World Series which year? It was 2014. I remember getting that magazine. They called it in 2017 World Series champs. And then one more. The Texas Rangers home run music is actually from a famous baseball movie from 1984. That would be The Natural. The same music plays in that movie when he hits the home run to end the movie and rounds the bases with the sparks flying around him. Great all-timer movie. And hey, check it out. Our winner came out of Flint, Texas. Gary Walton. Congrats, Gary. You got yourself a good pack of stuff here, including a pretty sweet hat, backpack, gift card. Congratulations to Gary. Shout out to you.
And thank you for following along, Gary. We appreciate you. And Jimmy, I got to ask you, how much did you know about the sports trivia? I know you found the questions, but how much did you know?
I found some of the questions. I will be honest with you. The Rangers
I need to catch up on my trivia.
Rangers questions, I decided to go a little bit harder because I grew up watching the Rangers, so I knew a lot more about them. The Astros questions, I mean, Astros fans might be a little bit easier for because they were tough for me because I didn't watch a whole lot of the Astros.
Well, speaking as a Rangers fan myself, I'd much rather see some Rangers trivia than some Astros.
Me too, to be honest with you.
All righty, Jimmy. Thank you. We'll be right back. Well, you're going to make sure you want to have that umbrella with you at all times the next couple of days.
Dust it off, take a look back to the closet. It's been a while since we've had, a decent rainfall like this, probably the most rainfall we've had maybe since January. We should have See off and on rain tomorrow, an 80% chance. Some of us are going to get more than an inch of rainfall. Some of us will come close to that. The high just 70, and that might be wishful thinking. We could get stuck in the 60s tomorrow. Then Sunday, a chance for strong or severe thunderstorms. We'll have an update after basketball tonight.
All righty, Brett, thank you. And catch CBS 19 News at 10 or News at 11 o'clock coming up on CBS 19 Plus, where we are live, local, and always on. Download the CBS 19 Plus app for free on Roku, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV. Enjoy your dinner. We'll see you when we see you.